Hi everyone, I'm definitely in a tarot mood today, so I'm enjoying just showing you guys some new decks that I've acquired over the last few months and that I'm enjoying working with, both tarot and oracle really. And the first one I want to talk about in this video is the Moon Phases Oracle. So if you go to Mystic Moon's Tarot, and you can find her on Instagram, and you can also find her on I believe that's the name of her website, but if you check her out on Instagram, she has a link in her profile which will send you to her site. This is a deck that has been self-created by herself and by the artist, which let me see if I can find. Devin Strickler is Mystic Moons. She's created the deck. And then I don't have the card with the artist's name, and I apologize for that. When I do a review of this deck, I will have all that information for you, but I'll post a link to the creator's site so you can check that out. She doesn't actually have any copies left of this deck at this time. My friend and I think we were like the last people that managed to get the last few copies of this deck. So, but she is going to be re-releasing this deck with some changes. So what you will see if you decide to buy this deck yourself in a few months, I believe she said April, but I could be wrong about that. I know it's coming over the next few months. It's not that long of a wait. Is a slightly different deck than what I'm going to show you right now. This is the first edition. But I had seen a few other card readers using the deck on their altar or in spreads. Ethne and a few other wonderful tarot people on Instagram, and was really, really inspired by the simplicity of the images, and also that this is a deck that has been created strictly around the moon and the moon phases. So if you've been working with me, if you've been following my channel since the beginning, you'll know that I'm someone who's very drawn to working with the moon and her phases. It's a really fulfilling part of my spiritual practice for me, in the sense that it really brings a lot of joy and groundedness to my practice. It doesn't go into a fear space of like radically needing to follow the phases and do everything only on those certain days when the moon is in a certain astrological sign or at a certain phase. For me, it's a much more grounded place of spiritual practice with the moon phases, and it's really, really about joy and authenticity and how good it feels. So I've been interested to see a deck that kind of explores that, and I really haven't found one to this date that has kind of fulfilled that expectation for me. So the author is also creating a moon deck with, I believe, some other artists, but you can check that out on her Instagram page and see about that. That deck I didn't feel as drawn to as this one, so I'm very, very, very thankful that I managed to get one of the last copies of this deck, and it was gifted to me, and it was a beautiful gift from my friend. So, the first thing that you will notice, and again this might be different in the second edition of this deck, is that the cards are really small. So, here is the Star Child Tarot, and here is the Moon Phases Oracle. So, you can see that it's much smaller. At first, I was like, oh my god, it's so small. But then as I've started to work with it over the last few days, I'm really, really enjoying the compactness of the deck and the fact that like it can kind of hang out with you and travel with you. Much like the Messenger Oracle for me, this is a deck that kind of likes to hang out and spend time together that way. Like it likes to be in my purse and go everywhere I go, and I can shuffle it while I talk to people or whatever. So this isn't a full review, guys, because I haven't spent more than, it hasn't even been a week that I've spent with the deck. So, and you all know I like to really be sure about how I feel about a deck before I do a review, because you guys are watching this to decide if you want to invest in a deck, and I do take that responsibility seriously. But I just wanted to show you this deck because I'm so in love with it. It's so unique and it's so much fun. So this is the smaller size. That's the backing of the deck. And then you have cards with the moon phases, but also you have cards like these. So there's luck. Here's the wish. Song. So she does not have a guidebook for the original edition that's printable, as far as it doesn't come with a deck. You can download the PDF. I'm not sure with the second edition if she's going to actually have a physical guidebook available. Then you can see we actually get into the moons. So here's the Hunger Moon. the Blessing Moon. Here's the Flock. You can see that the colors and the images, again, much like the Raven's Prophecy Tarot, which I just did a review of, very simple, but not simple in a negative way. This is very empowering. And so for any type of ritual work you want to do, any type of altar work, as a clarifying deck, as a meditative deck, this deck is beautiful. Here is the double-sided Manifestation and Blessings card. Here's the Wolf Moon. Right away from the start, this deck just hit me with so much personality. So much, here's one of my favorite cards, Calling. So much just joy at connecting, I think this deck has. It's one that, again, has really been created and crafted with intention and love, and it's just so joyful to work with. So I'm really excited to get to know this deck more. I'm very happy to tell you guys, I'm just looking for 2 cards that I wanted to show you. This card, Adaptability, and of course now I can't find her. This card, Perception, were the clinchers for me to actually purchase the deck. They kept peeking out at me from other Instagram tarot readers' pages, and I was just like, we need to work with this deck, but oh no, I lost my train of thought. This deck is just, yeah, so lovingly crafted with such intention and just beautiful simplicity in really capturing just that very beautiful, feminine, powerful, meaningful connection we have when we work with the moon and the moon's phases. Every side of the moon, just like every side of us, is a unique facet. And I think this deck really honors that and allows you to explore that. And it's also beautiful for ritual work, for altar work, for meditation, for, you know, if you're someone who likes to draw a card and have it on the altar so you can connect with it over a day, a week, a month, a season. This is a deck that I think really speaks well to that. So I am loving this deck, guys. This is the Moon Phases Oracle. Again, the second edition, I don't know if she's calling it the second edition, so if she's not, I apologize for saying that, but the second printing of this deck is coming up in the near future. It is currently not available, but you can check back at her site. Again, I believe it's Mystic Moons Tarot, but I'll put the link below to keep up to date on when the next edition / printing will be available. But I really, really love this deck. The other deck I recently was gifted is the 78 Tarot of the Water. And I'm not going to do a full review now because I literally just got it. I just thought I would show you guys. So this deck is much larger. Again, it's available on Etsy, and it's a self-produced deck. There's 78 different artists. So each card is different. There's Stephanie Puman-Law, same lady who did Shadowscape, same artist who did Shadowscapes. This Tanya Bond, the High Priestess, I want to get her deck, which is self-produced on Etsy as well. And I cannot, it's the Oracle of Duality or something like that. That's on my wish list, but this is her artwork. I mean, it's just stunning. So I'm just going to kind of do a quick flip through. I have to say, guys, and I'll do a full review and really kind of talk about it, get more into it, but you know that I'm very honest about my decks. There are probably 4 cards I really love in this deck. The rest really kind of fall flat for me, especially for my own relationship to the element of water. So I'm not sure how I'm going to work with this deck, and I might actually do a giveaway for it for someone who would actually really, really appreciate working with it. I am a huge fan of the Light Gray Tarot, which features 78 different artists. You guys know I've done a review of that deck. I still use that deck. I've had that deck for a few years now. It's on my altar. It's not a deck that I forget about or that I let our relationship kind of fade at all. It's a deck that I really, really love. There's a cohesive theme and a lot of joy in that deck for me. And I have to say that at first glance, I'm not necessarily really absolutely feeling it with this deck. But I am going to give it some time, and I'll do a full review then for you so you guys can, you know, listen to my opinion. I know some of you like to hear that. I'm just not really feeling it right now. I do like the Death card, however. And I like Temperance. Tiffany Tolan Scott, her Oracle deck is also on my list. I'm just not really feeling that connection with this deck. And in some ways, I kind of was, I know it's 78 different artists, but I had kind of hoped that there was a little bit more of a flow to it, just because we are talking about the element of water. So this is a deck that I've been, that I received recently that I'm just not quite 100% sure about how I feel about it. However, I love the idea of it, and I know a lot of people love the original 78 tarot deck. And I am a huge supporter of independently produced decks and artists that are being supported by the deck's work, by selling the deck, where they actually get to see some of that income from it, because that's where we get the beauty of that connection to the images themselves. I love that we can honor the artists and the creators who've actually made the deck. So I definitely love supporting that. But this deck, I'm not necessarily feeling it quite yet. I don't know, we'll see. So if any of you have the 78 Water Tarot, let me know what you guys think. Is it one that grew with time for you, your relationship with it? If it felt like kind of clunky for you at the beginning, like hard to work with it or to feel connected to it, did you do anything that helped with that? And, you know, as time goes by, if I don't feel drawn to it, I will do a giveaway for it, because I think it is a deck that somebody will just absolutely love who maybe wouldn't be able to purchase it, so they can get gifted it. But that is one that I'm kind of exploring a new relationship with. So the other thing, oh boy, the sun. The other kind of witchy thing that I've been exploring lately, which I just got a few kind of new things to have fun with, are, I guess they call them adult coloring books, which is just kind of ridiculous for me, but I guess that's what they're calling them. My son is now old enough where he loves to color and do kind of creative things, and so at the kitchen table he'll pull out his books, we'll get him set up, and then I'll actually do some coloring myself. And I found that it's actually really very meditative and relaxing for me, especially if I'm feeling stressed at all or needing to be very grounded. And so I just thought I would share with you guys like some of my favorites. I purchased this coloring book quite some time ago. It's the Magic Garden coloring book, and you can see it's got, you can see some of the pages I've colored, but there's, you know, it's again, oh, there goes a crow. It's again very floral based, lots of flowers, and I enjoy this one for sure. It's very pretty. But I just recently got two other books, coloring books, that for a really, really, really reasonable price, like under $10. And I'm really, really loving these, so I wanted to kind of show them to you, because if you might find that it's a great meditative experience for you, especially if you're someone who suffers with anxiety or high stress levels, difficulty in kind of relaxing and coming down from your day when you get home. These might be great options for you. So this is the Tanglewood one, and there's lots of owls and woodland creatures in here. This one I have not started coloring in yet, but it's really, there's the sun out. Can you see that? So this one's beautiful, and then this one I'm like really, really loving. This is the Garden of Earthly Delights, and let me show you guys, like you can see I started coloring this one this morning while Vincent and I were, the crow is still there. But this one is just gorgeous, like all kinds of beautiful things that just feel kind of witchy and yummy for me. So I am super excited about this, very happy to be working with this as a creative outlet. I have a lot of goals for myself this year on my spiritual path. And so activities like this can help me to just kind of like relax and get grounded again and not get overwhelmed with my schedule and the level of of work that I'm doing spiritually for myself and also in working with clients this year as well. So I have really been enjoying these coloring books. The Garden of Earthly Delights is by Adriana Picker. Let's see. Hardy Grant's Books did the publishing. You can find this on Amazon. Searchpress.com did Tanglewood, which is by Jessica Palmer, which is the one with owls on it. The reason why I bought this one, let me just show you guys. There's a whole honeycomb and bee section here, and that's why I bought this one. If it's not an owl, it's a bee, right guys? So anyhow, those are just some things that I'm kind of exploring, some things that I'm loving, some things that I'm not so much obsessed with, and really having an interesting experience working with. But I'm definitely feeling those beautiful creative juices starting to get flowing the way they do as winter. We can start to finally see that winter here in New England is slowly going to start easing up a little bit. So yeah, so I just thought I would share some of those things with you. The Moon Phases Oracle is just beautiful, guys. I hope that when the second edition / printing comes out, those of you who are drawn to explore it do, because it's a gorgeous, gorgeous deck, and it's just, there's such a great flow working with that deck. So thank you all for sharing a few minutes with me, well, more than a few, and sharing some witchy stuff. I'm sending you all much love, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.